All right, today we are diving deep into the incredible, interconnected machinery that makes our planet work. We're going to talk all about the interactions among Earth's systems.
So let's just jump right in with a bit of a riddle. Think about it. A volcano erupting, a simple rainstorm, a single blade of grass. What on earth could possibly connect those three things? They seem totally random, right?
Well, the answer is everything. They aren't separate things at all. Turns out they're all just steps in this incredibly intricate global dance, where every single move affects every other dancer on the floor.
Now, to understand this dance, you've got to meet the dancers first. And that brings us to Earth's four essential systems. These are the fundamental building blocks of our entire world.
And here they are. You've got the atmosphere, which is all the air around us, the hydrosphere, that's all the water, the geosphere, which is the solid land and rock, and the biosphere, that's all of life itself, you, me, everything. These are our four main characters.
So let's get to know them a little better. It's time to meet the key players and really dig into what each one of them does.
First up, the atmosphere. Think of it as this thin, fragile blanket of gases, mostly nitrogen and oxygen we need to breathe, that wraps around our planet. But it's so much more than just air. It's the engine that drives our weather, and it's our planet's personal shield, protecting us from the sun's most dangerous radiation.
Next, we have the hydrosphere. This is quite literally all of the water on Earth, and I mean all of it. The huge oceans, the winding rivers, those massive polar glaciers, and even the water that's hidden deep underground. It's basically the lifeblood of our world, and it's always on the move.
Then there's the geosphere. This is the ground right under your feet and everything below it. We're talking rocks, mountains, the soil in your garden, and all those super hot layers that go all the way down to the very core of the Earth. You could say it's the physical stage where everything else happens.
And finally, we get to the biosphere. This is the system of life. Every single plant, every animal, every tiny little microbe you can imagine. And here's the most important thing to get about the biosphere. It is completely and totally dependent on the other three systems to even exist.
Okay, so we've met our players, but the real magic, the real story, happens when they start to interact with each other. So let's take a look at how they all work together in what you could call the great global exchange of matter and energy.
A perfect classic example is the water cycle. We all learned this in school, right? Water from the hydrosphere evaporates up into the atmosphere. Then the atmosphere releases that water back down as rain onto the geosphere. And who's waiting for it? The biosphere, the plants, which soak that water right up from the soil. You see? It's a perfect, non-stop loop connecting all four systems.
So that's the everyday dance. But sometimes the interactions get a whole lot more explosive. So let's picture this. It all starts with just one system, the geosphere. Solid, stable ground, well, most of the time. Until it's not. A volcano, a purely geosphere event, violently erupts, blasting tons of ash and gas straight up into the atmosphere. And that single act triggers this unbelievable chain reaction. The geosphere's eruption shoots all this matter into the atmosphere. That ash then has to come down, right? It falls, blanketing the land and changing the chemistry of the hydrosphere as it lands in rivers and lakes. And of course, all these sudden changes have huge consequences for the biosphere, for every living thing in that area. One event and all four systems are thrown into chaos.
Okay, so why does any of this really matter? Because these interactions, they're not just some abstract science lesson. They are the very forces that shape our daily lives, from the weather outside to the food we eat.
Just look at climate change. It's a perfect example of a human-driven interaction. Our actions, like burning fossil fuels, pump extra CO2 into the atmosphere. That warms the planet, which in turn causes ice in the hydrosphere to melt. And the result? Sea levels rise, which leads to massive disruptions for the biosphere. It's a clear chain reaction, showing that our actions are now a major part of this global dance.
We see it in natural disasters all the time, too. A flood isn't just a water problem. It starts with crazy amounts of rain coming from the atmosphere. That causes the hydrosphere, our rivers and lakes, to overflow. That powerful rush of water then carves away at the geosphere, causing erosion. And the entire event, of course, directly and tragically impacts the biosphere, people, animals, and plants.
So, this brings us to the final takeaway. Let's boil this all down. What's the most important thing to remember about our incredibly interconnected planet? It really comes down to these three core ideas. 1. Our planet is basically defined by these four major systems that are always interacting. 2.
Both natural events and our own human activities can push and pull on these interactions. And 3, and this is the big one, you just can't mess with one system without causing ripples that spread across all the others. Nothing, and I mean nothing, happens in isolation.
So, I'll leave you with this thought. We know that our planet's systems are always trying to find a balance, a kind of rhythm that has supported life for millions of years. The question we have to ask ourselves now is, what is our role in that dance, and what steps should we be taking to help maintain that fragile balance?